Why, hello there, guys. It's another week and it's time for our weekly live stream. And this time I'm pretty sure I'm in the right place compared to last week when I was on the PTO Answers page. So I am Christina Heideck. I am your fearless leader here in the PTO Superstar Leaders group, and I'm so excited to have you here. If this is your first time joining me, will you just go ahead and let me know that you're new? And if you've joined me before, but you're back again, let me know that too. And just go ahead and type a comment like, hey, or wave to me or something so I can see that you're here. That would be awesome. So today, a couple of exciting things. First thing is that I'm going to be talking to you all about how to rock it as, I should say, that makes it sound like it's a rocket, how to rock it as a PTO leader. So I'm going to provide some really awesome membership or leadership tips. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Thanks for joining. And then the second thing that is so exciting is that I'm going to announce the giveaway winner. So I'm going to do that actually at the end of all of my tips so that I know you can be waiting on pins and needles for that fun announcement. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in to how to really be an awesome leader. So the first thing that sticks out in my mind when I thought about like, what am I going to talk about today? Well, and like how to be what makes a good leader? A good leader is organized, because if you're not organized, then everybody else doesn't really know how to, what to do, because, you know, if you're unorganized, you generally don't have a plan. You generally aren't communicating very well. And you're just making things up as you go along. And that can be like super hard for the leader personally, but it's even harder, I think, sometimes to watch with the other people in your group for them to see that going on. So I don't know if you've ever been in an organization before where you're volunteering, or even at work where a leader in your organization just does not have their crap together. Super frustrating on so many different levels. So you need to be organized. That means having a plan, like knowing what you're going to do personally in your role, and personally as like, as just like your personal side of keeping yourself going as like a human being, because it all kind of ties together. If you have something going on in your personal life, like a vacation, let's just pick something fun, then that might interfere with your responsibilities, or ability really to put on the talent show, let's just say. So you just can't physically be there, so you need to get other people involved. Well, if you don't even know that that's going on and you're just making it up as you go along and waiting to the very last minute, it's going to be really hard to get other people to help you. So really effective leaders are organized. And like I said, they also have a plan. And the best leaders generally, especially in PTO land, the very best thing you can do for yourself, for your sanity, is to get everything planned out during the summer. And I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it about a gajillion more times this summer, because honest to goodness, that's like my best success tip ever, is just to have a plan that you create during the summer, and you fine tune it as you go along. But you also like live into it. And so if you know where you're going, if you've charted that path, it's much easier to have a successful year than it is if you're just like making it up on the fly and just figuring it out on the go, because then you just can't plan for contingencies, and it's generally much harder. So then I took some notes just because, you know, I have like shiny object syndrome, and I don't want to like just think off the top of my head, because that's just goofy sometimes. The third thing you want to do, or the third thing that really effective leaders do, is that they communicate clearly. So that doesn't mean not fumbling over your words, because certainly that happens to the best of us, including me. But it just means that knowing that everybody is on the same page, or at least has access to the same information, because we're all busy. Teachers are busy, administrators are busy, non-volunteers are busy. And so you just want to give everybody access to the information so they can get to it when they need it. So it could be an email, it could be a group text, it could be using Google Drive, There's, so many different ways. Like technology is such our friend in this arena because there are really so many tools that will help support us. But you just have to use them. So I think really weak leaders don't let anybody else know what's going on. So that's just not an effective form of leadership if you're just trying to go it alone, because there's PTOs are not a PTO of one. They're a PTO of many. And the whole point of the PTO or the PTA is to make the school a better place, to enrich the children's educational experience, to make it a richer and more enjoyable working environment, because happy teachers make for happy kids, make for happy parents. So that's like the whole point. So if you're trying to do everything by yourself and you're not delegating, then that makes it really hard. So you should communicate clearly. So who should you be communicating with? I was going to say best, but that's not really true. So who should you be communicating with? When you are talking about your plans, they should be communicated to, of course, the other board members, the other PTA or PTO members, non-members, because you really need to be communicating with all parents, whether or not they're involved in the PTO at the time, because every parent is a potential PTO parent, or is a potential PTO volunteer rather. They just might not have the ability to do it at a specific time, but later on, maybe in the year, maybe their spouses stopped traveling so much, or maybe their job requirements have changed so that they have more time to give back. So don't count them out, and don't forget to keep them in the loop, because if you do, you're just being really short-sighted, because all parents are a potential volunteer for you. The other thing is you want to be talking with the other officers, of course, in your group, but also the administrators. And it's really nice, depending on the circumstance, to keep administrators at different levels involved. So maybe there's an event coming up and you want to make sure that your superintendent is at it because it's a larger event. Then make sure that the superintendent knows. So keep your building principal aware of the event, but also the superintendent too, or other administrators as it makes sense, really. The next thing that really awesome leaders do is that they're not jerks. Like, they just play nicely with others. They act like an adult. They treat others with respect. And I know that PTOs, look at what a bad rap we get. And it's such a bad stereotype. Heck, like bad moms. I will admit it that I did not think that movie was funny at all. I took it very personally because I take PTA and PTO stuff quite seriously, and I just did not enjoy the representation of the catty moms at the PTA meetings. So I didn't even make it through it. That, and I did not buy Mila Kunis as a mother. So sorry, Mila, just did not cut it for me. So I made it through like maybe half of the movie, and then I had to turn it off. So total aside. But as your role as a leader, make it like not all about you, because it isn't about you. It's back to what I said it was before about just enriching the educational experience for everybody. And I know some people get like kind of power trippy, and I've had people send me quite a few private messages in the last like maybe month or so. So I've been chatting with a whole bunch of people, which is really, I enjoy it and I love giving my advice. But some people are reaching out and saying like, here's what's going on in my PTO. Like, I totally don't think that this is the right way to do this, but I'm not sure how to handle this. Like, what do you suggest? And a lot of times they're reaching out to me because they're not sure if other members of their PTO are in the superstar group, and so they kind of don't want to like publicly out themselves that they're having this issue with this person, which I totally get. So it's totally fine to PM me if you have a question. Like I said, I enjoy talking with people, and when I have time, I will get back to you. But I've had a couple situations where people have said, look, the president is just acting like they are the sole decision maker. And that is totally not the case in PTO land. Like, the whole purpose of a president is to be, that is where kind of the buck does stop, but it doesn't start with them. Like, a president, and I've talked about this in other videos before too, about the president is in charge of making sure everything goes smoothly, and they're the head delegator. So they should be the main connection point. So it's really the figurehead of the organization. So if there is an award to be given out or a scholarship to be given out, then the PTO president is the natural presenter for that. If there is a news media request that's not related to something controversial, right? Like you certainly might get contacted, but let's say it's for something like the fun run and your group needs to have somebody on camera, they're going to look to the president to do that. In fact, one year we were doing a walk to school event and I was president at the time, and I didn't even think about being camera ready because I just didn't even think about it. And they're like, oh, Channel 5 is here and they want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had just to put on a pretty smile, and I think I grabbed some lip gloss, and it was what it was. I was just my natural gorgeous self, and was interviewed right there on the spot. So that's really the point of the president. It is not to be the ruler of all. Otherwise, we would call PTO presidents queens and kings, but we are not kings and queens. We are not monarchs. This is pretty much a democracy. So the next thing that really awesome leaders do is that they follow the rules, and they're not just changing them willy-nilly to fit their needs. So this also relates to something that I've been talking with somebody privately about, and I'm not going to mention her name, of course, because that would be totally rude, but I know this is happening in multiple groups where there are officers in charge who are not following the rules, and that they are changing them to suit their needs. In this one particular case, there was a president and a treasurer, and they legit, if they didn't like a rule at the next meeting, that they would vote to change it. And so it was basically two people deciding how the group was going to run. And that's really short-sighted of the president and treasurer, because guess what? In a couple of years, it's just going to be them doing all of the work because they will have run everybody else out. So that is an example of really bad leadership, because now they have a very frustrated board member on their hand who feels like they really want the best for their group, but they can't make it happen because the two other officers are kind of standing in her way, and are really putting up roadblocks for growth of the group. And that's super sad. And if you're wondering about how to change the bylaws and standing rules, I have a whole video on that in the group. And if you can't find it in the group, you can always go to YouTube and look on my channel. I didn't think that I was going to mention the video at all, or else I would have a short link. Maybe I'll pop a link in the comments when I'm all done. But if you go to YouTube and search for PTO Answers, you should be able to find it in the video list there. So yeah, I just want to say the bylaws and standing rules, they're not mere suggestions. You totally have to follow them. They're there for a reason. But at the same time, they're also not set in stone, and they should be reflecting the goals of the group, but also supporting the group in achieving those goals. So if you have an outdated bylaw or an outdated standing rule that is really not supporting the group or not allowing it to fully function, then you should certainly offer that up or identify that one for change and go through the proper procedures to get that changed. I kind of already mentioned this, I guess. It's just leading by example. I jumped ahead and didn't follow my notes. That's par for the course with me, and you guys love me for that, right? So there were the 6 ways to really rock it as a leader. Be organized, communicate clearly, plan ahead, don't be a jerk, follow the rules, and lead by example. And if you need help in doing any of those things, I got to tell you, I have my President's Planner is the perfect thing for you, because it provides the structure with all of the different forms and planning sheets that you'll need really for a successful year. And that is actually the the product of the month that I'm giving away to one lucky email subscriber. And I'm going to tell you who that is in just 1 second, but I just want to tell you how to get your hands on the planner in case you are not the lucky winner. And you can find the President's Planner at bit.ly/President's Planner. So I did pop a link in the video description, so you can follow it there. And yeah, the really exciting part about the President's Planner is it is about to get a cousin. So a couple people have been asking me to bring back the non-floral version. So I'm working on that, and it was almost ready for today. Well, before the video, I should say. I was going to make it available for purchase right around now, but I had a technology fail and the program crashed and lost all of my changes. So I'm really happy with my computer right now, but another aside. So what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you haven't yet entered the monthly giveaway, the good news is you only do it one time, and as long as you're subscribed, you're going to be able to enjoy a chance at winning every single month, where I will have a different prize. So without further ado, let me announce that Ashley Poff, who has been a member here in the group for almost an entire year, is the winner of the President's Planner. So yay! I don't have any sound effects or any confetti to throw around, but yay, Ashley, thank you so much for being an email subscriber. I'm excited that you have won this, so you can look for it in your email soon. When we get off here, I will email it to you. So if you, like I said before, if you didn't win and you're like a little bummed out, then you can go buy one for yourself, or you can make sure that you're entered to win next month's prize. And I haven't yet, let me see, I do have what I have. Let's see. Next month's prize, I have it right here. Ooh, it's a twofer. It's kind of going to be a big thing. I'm going to give away the Treasurer's Planner and the Treasurer's Workbook. How fun is that? Now, I know you're thinking like, oh, that is not so exciting. Well, it is, because if you don't have the finances of your organization in order, then everything else kind of goes in the crapper. So you're going to want to get that in order, and I've made it super easy for you to do. So we're going to be talking about that in July, but you'll have an opportunity to win that next month. So that's what it is for next month, and I have some really fun things coming up for giveaways. So I'm going to end the live right now, but I will be in the group, and we can talk about leadership questions if you have them. And Joanna, if you're getting my emails, then you are entered. So that's the deal. Yes, I make you fill out a specific form, but as long as you stay subscribed to my emails, then you are absolutely entered. So it's like easy peasy, because I send you weekly tips on how to better your PTO and how to run it more efficiently. And then you also get a chance to win. Best deal ever, right? So, okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I've so enjoyed chatting with you, and I hope these leadership tips are super helpful. And have a great week, and I will see you next week, okay? Bye-bye.